7 is the time.
A month on from the riots which tore through some English cities, and the work continues to understand the causes of that violence.
A quarter of the people charged in connection with the disorder had more than 10 previous convictions. But what conclusions can we draw from those figures?
From next week, a panel set up by the government will be travelling around the country asking people for their thoughts. Let's talk to Darra Singh. He is the chair of that panel, of the New Communities and Victims panel, and he is in our Westminster studio. But here in our studio is Darrell James, former gang member, now a youth worker. So very good morning to you both. Well, let's talk to Darra Singh first, over there in Westminster. Who are you going to ask, and what questions are you going to be asking them?
Well, we'll be asking a range of questions, and indeed, actually, anybody who wants to give us comments can do so. So what we've tried to do is to organise ourselves in a way that people can talk to us face to face when we're visiting different parts of the country. We start our visits programme on Monday in Manchester. Contact us through by email, or indeed write to us, and also monitor and keep up to date with what we're doing through our website.
And when you, I mean, on the face of it, so you go and talk to someone, so say, I don't know, a shopkeeper will come and tell you their experiences. I mean, we kind of know what a lot of people's experiences were. I'm not quite sure what you then take on from there. So someone might say, well, my shop was looted, I had stuff taken, and that was my experience. How does that help you investigate the causes and what really lay behind what happened?
Well, our task actually as a panel is to look not only at the causes and try to understand the motivations of the rioters, as well as actually local circumstances that may well have had an impact, but also to look at what we can do for the future and what we can learn from this, so that if anything ever happens like this again, that we can respond better. So earlier this week I was in Ealing talking to some shopkeepers who'd suffered greatly as a result of the riots, and actually listening to how they were supported by the local council, how they worked and tried to get some compensation through their insurance company and so on. It's those kinds of issues I think we can pick up on.
So Darrell, I mean, there's obviously an experience here for shopkeepers, those who've suffered, perhaps those who've taken part as well, to kind of share what happened. But do you think you've got the answer?
Well, I don't see the reason why they're going that far out to go to the whole country. You know, there's people like myself and other people who directly do this job. This is what we do.
What do you mean this is what we do?
Well, there's many agencies out there that work with kids that give the government answers that they want. You don't need to go through the whole country asking shopkeepers, like, what's he actually going to tell you? We know what happened.
OK, well, you've got Darra Singh here. He's the chair of the panel. Tell him what you'd like to say.
Darra Singh, please, like our government needs to do a bit more. I think you going up and down the whole country, like, is a waste of our good taxpayers' money. Like, ain't there a shorter way actually to get towards the truth?
Well, actually, I think there's a number of ways of getting at the truth, and I think it is important, actually. Those people who've suffered, and we've had obviously some tragic consequences of the riots, I think it is important as a country we give the individuals an opportunity in communities, those victims, the chance to give us their views and their suggestions and ideas about what we can do to respond effectively. I think that's only right and proper.
Aren't you talking about two slightly different things, though? I mean, I can see the point, if you like, almost from a PR perspective of saying, you know, you were victims, you've got a right to tell people in an official way what happened. But that's one thing. It seems a million miles away from finding out any answers.
I don't agree with that, actually. I think what we'll probably find is that there will be a whole range of different reasons in different localities as to why riots took place, and already there's kind of plenty of individuals who are giving their views. What we want to do as a panel in an orchestrated way is to draw all those together.
OK.
Inevitably what happens and what is happening at the moment is that we're kind of entering this issue at different points from different perspectives, but we need to take an overall view.
Darrell, you know, you say, well, you're a good person to speak to because you speak to young people and perhaps those young people who took part. But there will be people watching who think, what else happened other than, you know, young people decided to go and take advantage of unprotected shops?
You know, obviously, that's exactly what happened. So the government actually needs to speak to the young people. I don't see the point of going around the whole country asking everybody's opinion. This is not everybody's opinion. You keep on asking about the kids. Ask the kids. You don't ask, you know, a mechanic to like bake a cake.
But what is one of those kids going to say, do you think? What would they say to you?
Oh, they've told me, like, they've said many things, and that the easiest one was, why did you do it?
Yeah.
Because they said because they could, because nobody cared. you know, and that was as simple as it came, just because they could, knowing that the government doesn't acknowledge them at any point. Like, we've had 4 years of gang riots and killings, so forth, and the government's totally ignored it. So couple that with inflation, unemployment, taking away youth service and these things, the government cannot tell me that it wasn't a red flag.
Is that the notion of having nothing to lose? Is that where, you know, that thinking is, I have nothing to lose.
What
Why
do they
not?
have? What do they have? Where do they play? Where do they go? What do they do? After leave school at 16, what do you do?
You see, the thing is, isn't it, I mean, this is interesting, Darra, because at the end of this process, if this is, you know, Darra's pretty close to this notion, if the conclusion of all this is there's a whole bunch of people who feel they've got nothing to lose, then you spend a lot of money finding something out that probably someone could have told you right here and now.
Right.
Yeah, I think we are being a little bit premature here, aren't we? I think it's really important that myself and other panel members don't try to retrofit kind of particular views and theories on why things happen. Yes, we will talk to young people, but let's also remember that so far anyway, the vast majority of people who have been charged are 18 and over. So we want to talk to young people, we want to talk to individuals like Darrell who work with young people, and we want to talk to victims and communities in the areas affected, but also actually try to learn from those areas where nothing happened, and you know, local organisations and people like Darrell actually doing that kind of work have got good reasons to explain why they took action that prevented riots and disturbances.
Well, Darra Singh, thanks very much indeed, and Darrell, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you both. Thank you very much.
Let's see, time now, 19 minutes past 7. What's coming up on the programme today as the hunt continues for the